All right, folks, let's get airborne. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome aboard the Max Afterburner podcast, sponsored by the No Fallen Heroes Project, man. An all-encompassing project dedicated to saving the lives of veterans, first responders, and their family members. Man, it's been a while. It's been a New York minute. It has been a couple weeks, 2 weeks, I think. I've missed y'all. For good reason, so no offense. We did our third healing retreat of the No Fallen Heroes Foundation down at Awaken Your Soul, and it was absolutely incredible. We're going to debrief that because I was on the other side of the fire circle this time, kind of acting as flight instructor and holding space. Now, pre-medicine Whiz would laugh at a comment like that. I don't even know what the hell that means, holding space. I do now. And I'm going to share with you the incredible healing, the life-saving changes that I've seen in the folks that attended that retreat, and life-changing, obviously, and we'll get into that. First things first, how about Panthers? My God, man. Heading to the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll figure out if it's Dallas or Vegas we're going to beat up on next. But, man, what a Cinderella story. If you're not following hockey, what are you doing? Playoff hockey is insane. And the Cinderella story of this season, clearly, of the playoffs, are the Florida Panthers. Just a funny, if you're following my Instagram, official_Whiz, you saw that we're good buddies with the greatest hockey player on the face of the planet in history, Bobby Orr, right? So Bobby came to a couple games this season. The last game he went to was game 4 with Boston, right? Boston finished the regular season President's Cup trophy. Number 1, the most points and victories ever in NHL history, favored to win the Stanley Cup, right? And they were beating up on my boys, and the night after we had Bobby at the Boston game and tail between the legs, type of feeling, Bobby called me, Whiz, hey man, love you, love Susie, the kids, you guys are awesome, whatever y'all need, let me know, blah, blah, blah. Really nice. He's the nicest guy in the world. And at the end of that conversation, I said, hey, well, if you're free, why don't you come to Friday's game? And here's the famous quote, Whiz, your boys ain't coming back from Boston. So you guys all know me. I'm a sore loser and an even worse winner, man. Here we are going to the Stanley Cup when the greatest hockey player in the world said, Whiz, your boys ain't coming back from Boston. We went on to run the table against Boston, winning a Game 7 in Boston, and then we went and took on the Maple Leafs and beat those Canucks 4-1, right? And then we just swept Carolina, the Hurricanes, 4-0. Swept them. So we were going ape shit in this Top Gun option suite the other night, man. Wow. 4.3 seconds left in the game. Done. Going to the Stanley Cup. The last time the Panthers went to the Stanley Cup, I was a 27-year-old lieutenant on the USS Kitty Hawk. I think I haven't shaved. I was going to say I shaved with the Kitty Hawk this morning, but I didn't. That's how old, that 1996 was when the Panthers went to the Stanley Cup for the last time. Now, don't know what's going on with the Heat. Not a big NBA guy. It's like watching submarine races or grass grow. It just doesn't appeal to me. I'll watch the Final Four for the NCAA, but, Heat's in it. South Florida's buzzing. I've been watching it, but kind of imploding a little bit. So let's go Heat. But South Florida starting to get on fire and get some hockey fever. And I love, the middle of the season, you can park anywhere and it's not packed. FLA Live Arena has been sold out, obviously. But I'll take the fair weather fans. We'll take new hockey fans. And it's just great stuff. So way to go to the Florida Panthers. What else is going on? So flew down to Costa Rica. Man, 5 incredible human beings. Let's just start with that. 5 incredible souls. Okay? 3 veterans, 2 family members, 2 dependents, and 3 females. and just an incredibly diverse group of folks, Army, Air Force, Marine. And let me just start with this. I'm blown away. I'm just humbled and honored. When you get off the plane in Costa Rica and you go meet at the hotel where we all catch the shuttle to go out to awaken your soul. It's interesting now. I've done this twice. One is stepping into the medicine and this one as a flight instructor, just to see the energy, right? People showing up like, oh my God, what am I doing here? And just the, 7 days later, dropping those folks off at the airport, they are completely different human beings. They look different. They're lighter. Their eyes are brighter. They're standing upright. Just in 7 days. It's insane. So let's get into it. First of all, hats off to Anthony, Joe, and all the folks down at and Troy. The Awaken Your Soul is incredible. We love Ambio down in Mexico. We love the Mission Within. These are the three main retreat centers that we refer our folks to, or we send our grant recipients to. Healing should be free. It is free, but should be free. We're getting there. But our grant recipients, our veterans, our first responders, their family members who can't swing the coin, I go out of my way to try and get them full healing grants. So, and obviously down the road with the mission objective of healing Americans in America. What a concept, right? What a concept. What a whacked out idea. Why don't we heal Americans in America? Hopefully starting to send some of our folks, our grant recipients, to Heroic Path to Light in Texas with Justin and his crew. I will be heading to Austin the second week in June. Let's pull up calendars here and let's align calendars. So I'm going to be taking our fighter jet on the road to Austin, depending on the Stanley Cup. From 12 to 16. So Justin's having a healing retreat in Austin, 12 to 16. So I'm gonna hold some space, but I'm also gonna literally hold some space in the air. So I'm bringing the jet because Justin's got a good group of donors who want to go flying in a fighter jet, man. Once in a lifetime experience. So I'm bringing the L-39 on a road trip over to Austin. 10 to 16 maybe, or 12 to 16 June. If you're in Texas or you're around Austin, you want to go flying in a fighter jet and save a life, we'd love to have your donation and I'll take you flying. So those are the dates. Then, excuse me, after the 16th, I'm going to hop in that jet, take my time and go up to Denver. Bringing the jet up to Denver. Why? Because from 19 to 23 June is the MAPS convention. But you do not want to miss this. If you are interested at all in the psychedelic space or learning or networking or anything, I think at last count, they're close to 10,000 people registered for the MAPS convention. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. Obviously, Rick Doblin, it's his convention. I think there's a bunch of other famous, not that you're going to meet famous folks, go to meet the doctors, the scientists, the researchers, go to meet the veterans. The No Fallen Heroes Foundation is sponsoring Thursday night's dinner, June 22nd. The No Fallen Heroes Foundation is sponsoring the dinner, and we're paying for 190, I think now. Was 150, I think it's 190 now. 190 veterans to attend that dinner on us. So really happy about doing that. But I'm going 19 to 23 to learn. I'm going to meet Roland Griffith, a huge trailblazer in this space. Paul Stamets, all of these names, if you're familiar, you're like, wow, it'd be great to go and meet them. Do it. If you don't know who those names are, you will. Okay, these are the Mercury 7 astronauts of psychedelics. Ram Dass ain't around, or Timothy Leary. If they were, they'd be there, right? So this is, what an incredible... So we're going to meet booger eaters. We're going to meet veterans. We're going to meet, politicians. It's going to be a massive event. So flying the jet up there and going to hang out and learn, have a dinner. I'm just so excited. So, and I'm also going to be flying folks up there too. Some donors up in the Denver area. I think we're flying like a couple media folks from the local TV stations, doing everything I can to raise awareness for this mission, especially with this Memorial Day weekend. So this isn't going to be a super long podcast because I actually have to rush back home because I have 2 media hits. Had a media hit yesterday with Channel 8 up in Michigan. And then today I have Denver and Panama City talking about psychedelics, healing, Memorial Day, mental health, you name it, addiction, and all this good stuff. So I am feeling, as Marcus Luttrell would say, blessed and unstoppable. So that's our flight schedule. Okay, now let's get back to Costa Rica. This time, I went down along with our director of medicine operations, Miss Nicole Fox, and this was my instructor check ride. So again, just 5 incredible human beings. The first night, second night, the sharing circle. Obviously, Nicole, kind of like a doctor-patient type of client privilege. So I don't, I only know what these grant recipients tell, right? Because Nicole, she does her counseling, and obviously that's all between them. But at the sharing circle that first night was the first time I got to hear, because you share what you want. You can share nothing, everything, it's up to you. But going around the sharing circle at Awaken Your Soul and hearing from these 5 folks for the first time, for me, for the first time, to hear what they have gone through and what they're looking to heal, I had tears in my eyes. So when they got to me in the sharing circle, I'm a pretty emotional guy, but the 2 words that immediately struck me were hope and gratitude. Hope. Why hope? Because if you remember at Top Gun Options, or you follow anything that's going on, if you're not living on the other side of Mars right now, you know that the world is just fucked right now. We are in so much trouble. War in Europe. Something my dad would say. War in Europe. There's war in Eastern Europe. Joe Biden, we're not sending tanks to Ukraine. That would mean World War III. This morning, I've announced we're sending tanks to Ukraine. Okay. We're not sending F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. That would mean World War III. This morning, I made a decision to train F-16. You mentioned the word peace, like the Pope or Elon Musk or Whiz, and you're called a Russian sympathizer or a Putin plant. Isn't that fucking fantastic? People who want to be peacemakers are now derided as plants or anti-American. I'm not patriotic, apparently, because I want peace. I don't want young men and women turned into hair, teeth, and eyeballs. I'm some sort of Putin plant. You can kiss my ass. The defense military industrial contract. Of course we want to send F-16s, General Dynamics, cha-ching, cha-ching, Raytheon, cha-ching, cha-ching. Shooting down, $100 Russian drones with $1 million Patriot missiles, or ASRAMs, or whatever they're called. Great. I'm no super smart investor, but whatever. I don't even want to get started. But the world sucks. This week, what did Iran do? They test launched a ballistic missile that can what? Reach Israel and further. What has Iran said? We're deploying our nuclear power for peaceful purposes, but if we ever get a nuke, we're going to wipe Israel off the face of the planet. What's Israel say? Yeah, you will never get a nuclear weapon. So unless those 2 people sit across the table from each other one day and go, wow, we were both really stupid to have those opinions about each other, weren't we? And they shake hands and kiss and make up. First of all, that's never going to happen. So war in Europe, war in the Middle East, China, Taiwan, China just kind of buffaloing its way around the world, raging inflation in the United States. A Durham report that confirmed everything that I knew. The FBI is dirty. Hillary Clinton, it was a PSYOP campaign, right? The collusion with the Russians was actually Hillary Clinton and her campaign and dirty FBI agents. Not a word out of the media. It doesn't, and Richard Nixon's spinning in his grave. Dude, I got in trouble. I had to resign because a couple of guys broke into the DNC to look at some files. We actually have a law enforcement arm of this government. 51 former intelligence agencies said that Hunter's laptop is Russian disinformation. It was a lie. They lied to interfere in an election. It was a soft insurrection. You want to use that word? I'll use it. That was an insurrection, folks. Drugged this country through years and ripped us apart. And here we are. So anyway, get back off the tangent, Whiz. At the sharing circle, it gave me hope. You know, I show 2 lines on a graph. The first line up here is the United States of America and the world going straight down. Fucked. We're in a lot of trouble. The bottom line that's coming straight up like a rocket ship is people wanting to heal themselves, to stop seeing each other as a political party, a sex, a race, a creed, a sexuality, to see each other as souls. But the first step to do that, as I often say, is what? If we lose cabin pressurization, put the mask on who first? You. You ain't good to anybody in your row, your family, if the mask ain't on you first. So as these people shared what they had experienced in their childhood, in the military, and saying, manifesting their intentions of, we want to heal these things. My God, I was crying. I'm like, look at these people wanting to heal themselves. And by healing yourself, you will help heal the world. Be that beacon of light. When you are a lean, mean fighting machine of a soul and a body and a mind, you lead others to want to be like that, to do good, to smile, to put the ladder down. That's where we need to be, right? So hope. Seeing those 5 people share what they wanted to heal and become better at gave me hope for this country and this world. The second thing that I felt, the second word I had to share was gratitude. My God, I fell on my knees during that retreat several times. It said, thank you, God, whatever word. If the word God freaks you out, if the word God triggers you, you got some work to do. Pick a word. Creator, source, divine, truth. I prefer to use the word God, and I thanked God for doing this work, for allowing me to do this work. When I did this was really cool, down at Awaken Your Soul, I celebrated my 2-year anniversary of the medicine, my second birth date. I texted Marcus and JT and JJ and Robert. What an incredible group. An NFL player, 2 Navy SEALs, 1, the lone survivor, and Jared Taylor, JTAC, one of the founders of Black Rifle Coffee. God could not have put together a cooler group, just ask us. But I texted them from Costa Rica. I said, fellas, I'm taking 5 more in tonight on our anniversary. And they were, we're best friends for the rest of our lives. We are family. When you do medicine with a group of people, you're bonded for life. You were born together again. Again, old me would kind of raise one eyebrow when somebody uses the term born again. Well, hi, I'm me, and now I'm using that term because I was. But the gratitude, there's no way in hell 2 years from taking some Ibogaine and lying on a bed in Mexico did I ever think I'd be sitting here in a podcast studio, running a foundation, or doing any of this stuff. So I was grateful to God that I am able to do this work and to be a part of this healing. Because this time in Costa Rica, I was holding space. Old Whiz would chuckle at a comment like that, with the flowing robes, holding space, like in your hands, or like, folks, I actually, you know me, or most of you who know me, like if I'm going to dig into something, I'm going to dig it. I'm going to be a SME, a subject matter expert. So I got this book called The Art of Holding Space. Actually, Susie gave it to me because she took all of her training and stuff like that. So when you hear or you see online or you hear people like me talk about holding space like so, as those 5 brave Americans took the iboga in the fire ceremony and went to go kind of lay down eventually and begin their journeys, I was holding space. What does that mean? This is a beautiful, I'm not smart enough to articulate or this, but I'm going to read it. The job of holding space and time does not fit neatly within a precise job description or linear specification of tasks. It is an opportunistic role, depending on a close reading of the meeting environment, a clear sense of self and purpose, and a capacity for sensitive and innovative response. Done well, the role manifests what I see as the essential qualities of a good facilitator: total presence and absolute invisibility. Total presence and absolute invisibility. Holding space and time requires that you be in that space and time as fully present, available, open, truthful, and having no agenda of your own, except that the time and space be held and honored. The medicine journeys I've done for me were 90-10. What do I mean by that? Lying there on a bed for 12 hours or whatever, it was 90% the Whiz and God show. Okay? 10% was every once in a while I shade up. Am I still on earth? And everybody, okay, good. Or when I did the medicine for the first time and listening to guys who sounded like they were in it, man, they were having a tough time. And I remember laying there going, God, I'm an aviator. I have to go give them some close air support. I remember lying there just trying to send love and light to either Marcus or JT, who was next to me. And that's when God said, Whiz. He didn't say Whiz. He said, Matthew, they're getting exactly what they need. Trust me. And I'm like, yeah, you're not listening to me. I got to help. I have to help. And, gentle nudge. God is always gentle. Little nudge back, kind of like, look at me, dude. Trust me. They're getting exactly what they need. You come with me. And I did. And you know the rest of the story. Episode 7, shameless plug, to get my Healed by the Light debrief. So this time around, the ratio swaps. It's 10-90. Now, as a facilitator, you need to tune in a little bit, right? You don't need the medicine to tune in. You could probably sit, meditate, and, again, as I repeatedly say often, you don't need the medicine to heal, folks. Meditation, breath work, yoga, climbing a mountain, sitting in a room quiet. Radical people, military, SEALs, fighter pilots, might need radical healing. Okay, so let's just get out of the way, because I'm bringing up the fact that in order to hold space with Iboga, I took a facilitator dose. It wasn't no 4 scoops or big league chew like we jokingly said we did back in February. Our squadron was called Big League Chew, because go listen to that podcast. The 5 of us, 4 fighter pilots and 1 spouse, sat there chewing. So anyway, a couple people did it this time. Justin Lepre, who runs Heroic Path to Light, he came with us on this retreat, and he's a psychonaut, right? He wanted to, I'm going full throttle. If chewing it gets the enzymes going and delivered quicker, that's what I'm doing. So it was funny watching Justin chew. But I took a facilitator dose, medium. That's what the Troy, who was providing the medicines, like, and they read it, right? So, and then talking to Anthony, he's like, Whiz, hey man, the more you work with these medicines, the less you actually have to do. And I was very thankful for that, because he was right. With just a facilitator dose, I was able to, and it's so funny talking like this, man, because this is old Whiz still. There's a little old Whiz flying around and some stray trons in my brain, but it's just funny to say something like this. Like, I was able to tune in to the frequency of those 5. And what a difference. So 10% this time was me instead of the 90. 10% was kind of like, I was getting downloads, man. For Iboga, with me, not saying with you, because a lot of these participants had massive visuals. For me, Iboga is not visual. Ibogaine is a fucking Oscar, Emmy, Golden Globe. I was sitting in a theater with God, just eating popcorn, going, oh yeah, look at that, my child. Completely different experiences for me. And I remember, I forget which book it was, one of my psychedelic books, reading tons of them now. The guy, forget the author, was kind of like, I even don't even think I should tell people about my experiences, right? Because it's physically impossible for everybody to have the same experience or even close, right? So when I share my father or my sister or being with Source or flipping in a bed, folks, that's me, right? So when I tell you Iboga to me was downloads, like laser clear knowledge, right? Where Ibogaine, both times, were completely visual. All right. And they're not hallucinations, right? I don't like when people use that. What I experienced was as real or more real than sitting here in this podcast studio. What is reality? Right? When you see something, your brain processes it, your third eye. Your third eye is actually processes more, in my opinion, than your regular eyes. But anyway, holding space and seeing the healing energy of 5 souls shedding, just like a snake sheds its skin, or caterpillar to a butterfly. It was incredible. 10% me getting some downloads from Source, and 90% being there, healing, feeling, being of service. Now, Troy and Joe and Anthony, they no kidding are super facilitators, meaning like Joe or Troy can actually take folks on a past life regression or something like that, or take you back to your childhood, listening to them operate and do the work they do. It's almost unbelievable, right? And I'm going to have both Troy and Joe and Anthony. I'll space them out through the podcast because you have to. These people, just about every word out of their mouth is full of wisdom and experience. So the healing they were enabled to do was fantastic. So sat with the medicine, held space, good discovery day of, they're down, man. They're down for a while. And then, the next night after that, a sharing circle and hearing what they experienced, the healing and what happened. And then we sit with the medicine again, have another discovery day, and then that final sharing circle. The final sharing circle is just listening to the different journeys each person had. And I'm gonna have them on individually. I'm not going to share what they shared because that was kind of in our circle of trust, our trust tree. I'll bring them on to the podcast here so they can tell you their individual stories. But I again, crying like a baby, man. Joy. The final sharing circle, tears of joy for the healing, the lightness, the power, just everything, man. Again, I closed out my little comments at the sharing circle with hope. These people got a new lease on life. How grateful was I to be able to help provide that, to be a safe container, to help give a grant. I mean, if that's what I got to do, are you kidding me? I mean, I don't enjoy raising money. I hate asking people for money. It sucks. That's why I try and fund this stuff all on my own. Idiot move out of Whiz or not. I don't. You guys know me. Easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. So before I left, we hadn't reached our Costa Rica. Note to self: don't schedule a healing retreat for whatever, 50 grand until you have the 50 grand. Step one, Whiz. But we were pretty far short of our goal there. And I'm like, oh man. So I gave for the next 2 days, I'm going to give a 50% discount to the Max Afterburner lifetime membership. It was 60% because it's currently $22,500. It's $22,500 for a lifetime membership at Top Gun Options. I said, you know what? Until I power down my computer Saturday night in Costa Rica, I'll give you, how about 10 grand? Because I needed about 3 or 4 people. Got 19, which was great. We obviously made our fundraising goal to pay for the Costa Rica retreat, but I got kicked in the gut a little bit because I should have limited that to, hey, the next 4 people. I didn't. So congrats to all the new lifetime members on my stupidity. But again, folks, if you lead with your heart and truth, you can never go wrong. Because obviously I love putting down the ladder to folks to help them trade successfully. I got a great text this morning, 8:31 from Utah. Mark Provo, obviously call sign Utah. He was a Blue Angel F-18 guy, just great American. Good morning. 2 days post shoulder replacement surgery. Yikes. In spite of the pain, made $4,000 yesterday on an S&P 500 sniper shot and closing in Amazon Iron Condor this morning for another $3,500. Almost $10,000 this week. Budweiser today printing money. Thanks, brother. That's if a former Blue Angel and FedEx guy can do this, folks, this ain't hard. I did 3 days of free briefs this week for basics, like, hey man, what's the stock market? What are stocks? What are options? I did 3 free briefs this week to put the ladder down even further to folks who, dude, I don't even know, I can't even spell the word option. Well, guess what? I got Marine buddies who can't spell the word option, and they are trading successfully. Now, if you want to watch the replays from our 3 free briefs this week, you can head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT replay. Stands for full throttle replay. Go watch the replays, man. It's a crawl, walk, run, right? I'm no Einstein, man. Thank you, Navy flight training. Navy flight training was designed to take somebody who's never even seen an airplane before and in a short amount of time, turn them into a steely-eyed fighter pilot. So I copied and pasted how we train aviators to get up to speed. And use it for options. So take control of your financial future, man. Nobody cares more about your money than you. It always makes me laugh when people, my college roommate manages my money, or my uncle. No offense, they do not care more about your money than you. And if they do, you're weird. I just don't understand that. So I can teach you how to do that. I don't know how I got on this tangent, but that's what it was. Lifetime membership and funding these retreats. So do me a favor if you can. We enabled our website, the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, to take smaller donations, $25, $50, $75, $100. Every little bit helps. A couple $100 can pay for an airline ticket to Costa Rica or to San Diego. Every little bit helps, right? If you have a little bit more, you can throw into the till. I'll take you flying in the backseat of the L-39 fighter jet. I don't make a dime off of that. We are a true nonprofit. The Buckley family, it's a one-way valve on the other side of the fence to keep our foundation airborne. Now I know it's coming. I know maybe some corporate sponsors, or I'm putting in the work down at my level. There's other foundations who, I wonder if they understand what the term nonprofit means. But sorry, that's ego talking, and I'll back away from that. But let's just say we are an actual nonprofit, and we need help. Every little bit helps. NoFallenHeroesFoundation.org/donate. Or if you want to figure out how you can ride in a fighter jet down here in South Florida, Denver, or Austin over the next month or so, go to NoFallenHeroesFoundation.org/jet. And I'll take you flying in the jet. And obviously, the only rule is to eat a banana for breakfast, because it's going to taste the same coming up as it did going down. So good stuff. Very, very thankful for you all allowing me to do this work, right? I thank you to my Top Gun Options members for me, disappearing for 7 days. Isn't it awesome? But, we got Bart and Goose. We got a former Tomcat guy who I think was born in the pyramids. Bart is just an incredible human being, 500-pound head, math graduate from the Naval Academy. Even though he's a Tomcat guy, I still like him. And then Goose, another 500-pound head, F-16 driver from the Air Force. He's a captain at American Airlines. And, Bart obviously did the medicine with us back in 2 Januaries ago. And he's just, watching his integration from the medicine has been fantastic, because he like, I think Arrow, because it's interesting. Me, the day after my first medicine journey, and even my second, I was up. I had my journal. I'm like, oh my God, I need to figure out my life right now. I can't believe everything that I got. Everything's crystal. And they're like, dude, throttle back, man. 5% here with the medicine, 95% the integration. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But you get like a Bart who the next day he's like, man. And he was in the medicine. He came down for a little bit and went back up for about another. He was in it for a good day and a half. And I remember him being like, yeah, I don't know. So there are people who like down there, they're like, yeah, I just don't, that was interesting. And I'm like, oh my God. And then they're the ones who get home and go, holy shit, for like the next 12, 18 months, they're like, they're unpacking so much stuff. So it's really interesting to see how the medicine interacts with others. To me, I got, kind of instantaneous gratification, so to speak. And that's a lot of ego right there. And some folks are like, yeah, it's really interesting. And then boom, I still get texts from Bart out of the blue at 2 a.m. like, hey, this just hit me and look at that. And I'll be integrating for the rest of my life, folks. I mean, that is the God's honest truth. I am still unpacking my 5-MeO DMT experience. When you die, ego death, when you die and you explode into love, light, energy, and oneness with source and everybody, it leaves a lasting impression, and it certainly, it's a gift. It's a gift that keeps on giving. I think the next time I will have that type of enlightened experience is when I take my final breath and transition. You don't die, nothing dies. You transition. And, it's funny because you never want to hear a pilot talking like this, right? Like, I have no fear of death. Hey man, I don't want to go anywhere anytime soon. I want grandkids. I'm going to be old stodgy and living here in Boca and yelling at kids to get off my lawn. But I just like the John Hopkins psilocybin study with the stage 4 cancer patients, 85, 90% of the respondents said, I have no fear of death anymore. My quality of life is through the roof. If it was 5, 10, 15%, I'd be like, wow, that's great. 85%? It's obscene. It's insane. On that final note, and we'll wrap up on, is when I was down in Costa Rica, I saw Dan Crenshaw, Congressman Crenshaw, former Navy SEAL, testifying in front of the HASC, the House Armed Services Committee. For the second year in a row, Congressman Crenshaw, is trying to get the Pentagon to drop a couple shekels to the National Institutes of Health to explore, study active duty, let alone veterans, healing with this medicine. It passed overwhelmingly in the House last year. And where do good ideas go to die? The Senate. Why do they die in the Senate, Whiz? What, are you new? Who doesn't want this? Alcohol lobby, tobacco lobby, big pharma. Why does it die in the Senate? Because we don't have leaders. We have politicians. Politicians cash checks. If we had leaders, I wouldn't be in Costa Rica or Mexico. I'd be here in Boca Raton. I'd be in Aspen. I'd be in Texas, wherever, healing. But these things are a Schedule I drug in the United States. And it's a lie. High risk of addiction and abuse. Wrong. They're anti-addictive and they're therapeutic. A cigarette will kill you, and it's addictive. Alcohol will kill you. It's addictive to some. So standard government, we're going to label these things the exact opposite of what they are. So it was nice to be in Costa Rica, to see Dan trying to push the ball forward. It should pass the House. If it dies in the Senate, I'm coming for you. Where are you, Marco Rubio? Where are you, Senator Rick Scott? Navy guy. Where are you, Governor DeSantis, a former naval officer? Where are you, Ron? Why aren't you leading? Governor Abbott in Texas, other big Republican state, giving money to the Dell School of Medicine. The University of Texas, Dell School of Medicine, has a psychedelic branch. They are doing a psilocybin study with Gold Star moms and spouses. And seeing some of the results will make you cry. I haven't felt this good in years since my husband died. I have a new life. Boom, boom. Unbelievable. Ron DeSantis, get off your ass. Give me a call, dude. I ain't hard to find. And don't even get me started about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden did the medicine in Mexico. That's why that dude unfornicated his life. He looks like a different dude, and he's clean. Why can't the dude needs a win? So is the president. Today, I found out my son went to Mexico where veterans have to sneak to go get healed. What a disgrace. I'd vote for the dude if he came out and said that. Lead, politicians, lead. Be a leader. But again, and we'll wrap up on this note. Lead, follower, get out of the way. There are other veterans charities who like flying to D.C. and doing dinners and rubbing elbows. Great. We'll attack in parallel, right? We don't have to attack linearly, A, B. We have to attack A before B before we get to... No, dude. We attack in parallel. We will attack A through D. I'm out here on D. I'm doing we the people. That's who will change and influence our leaders. No amount of dinners in the world. When I went to D.C. months ago and rubbing elbows with these people, Whiz, we love it. Yeah. But, look left, look right. Big Pharma is going to be your issue. They ain't my issue, dude. They're your issue. The fuck out of here with this. Big Pharma is going to be the issue. People putting untested virus juice in your arm for profit. You can't sue them if something happens to you, and you can't sue the... okay, well, I'm not even going to... Let's end on a high note. The high note is Big Pharma can't stop this. God is the most incredible pharmacologist and scientist in the world. Everything we need to heal on this planet, every ailment that ails a human body exists on this planet. God put it here. Leave it to man and ego to make those things illegal. This isn't coming. This is here. We are leading a change that's going to help save this planet, this world, this country before it's too late. I am grateful to God, and I am grateful to all of you all to empowering me, allowing me to do this work. And I am hopeful based on the veterans, the first responders that we are helping to heal. I am hopeful that is going to happen. I jokingly told people down there, I'm like, this is the best pyramid scheme out there, because you do it and you put the ladder down. You go to recruit. It's Amway. It's Amway for life in your body and soul. You want to put the ladder down and tell other people about this healing. It's the best pyramid or pyramid scheme, not Ponzi, pyramid scheme that exists out there. Healing and hope. On that note, folks, have a great rest of your day. Please, I beg of you to remember why we have a Memorial Day. Isn't it incredible that veterans get a day while some other classes or groups of folks in this country get a month? Let that sink in. Memorial Day. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Fights on. Namaste and basi basi.